Hello everyone and welcome to the Halo Gaming channel. Welcome back to Booster Blaster Build Part 3, I think this is. In the previous episode I got the prototype mostly finished. I added in a second level and coded that so that when you got to the end of level 1 it would load level 2. And implemented the moving obstacles into the game, so just to make it a little bit more difficult, and did a tiny bit of just level layout for the two levels just to make them a little bit different. And when we last left off, we were going to see if I could get to the end of the second level. So this is the first level. Can I do it? So you gotta get to the green little block. Oh, nope, no. Such an infuriating game. I'm just gonna get so close. Okay, I can do it. I'm getting the hang of it. No. You know, it's been a while since I played this. It would be interesting to go back and see see what it's like now, see how bad I am. Yeah. This could take a while. But it's getting there. Yeah. Oh, no. There we go, level 2. Can I get to the end of level 2? That's the difficult one. Yeah, gotta watch it. Back to level 1. Oh, this is so annoying. Yes, I made it. I know it's annoying. But I'm getting level... Never mind. The thing is, as I keep dying, I get more and more frustrated and end up doing a lot worse. I just end up flying straight into walls and stuff. It's maddening. And looking at it, I think there could still... Whoa, that was close. And I still died. I think there could still be a few tweaks to the movement of the ship, because it is spinning quite quickly, which could be making things a bit more difficult. You know what? Let's just scrub through this. You know, okay. I know I can get to level 2 at some stage. I've already proven that. We're getting close. We're getting... There we go, level 2. And can I get to the end of level 2? That's good. No. Back to level 1. We're going to skip through level 1. And level... I think this will be it. No! There we go, level 2. What's the problem with this? I had a thought of back to level 1. And just get through level 1 again. Level 1, level 2. I had a thought of making like 50 levels for this game. And if you died, you went back to level 1. And then I thought, could you imagine if you were on level 49 and went back to level 1? It would be infuriating. So I just... Oh, that was quick. If I ever do get around to actually making this game, I feel like I'd save it every 5 levels. Have that kind of thing in it, so you wouldn't have to... Or just have like less levels. I don't need 50. But as I said in the last episode now, like once this prototype is fully done, and it more or less is, I mean, you die, it reloads, it loads the next level, it has all the basic mechanics. I think what I start adding in is just particle effects and that kind of stuff. All that's left is level design, because everything that I've done so far to make this prototype is just is reusable, so that's quite handy. Okay, this looks good. And what happens when I get to the end of level 2? Because there's no level 3, so... Oh, that was good. You can do it. Wait, no! Oh, fuck, no! Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want to have anxiety while playing this. And I know, because I have anxiety. Oh, so close! I have anxiety, and I kind of wanted to make a game that kind of gave you that feeling. Because I love the game Celeste. Celeste is brilliant. and I haven't finished it, but I was playing it, and there's a few sections where you start getting chased, and my God, the just the ramp up of anxiety in those sections is insane, but addictive and so much fun. Level 2. Right. I'm worried I won't get to the end of level 2. And that I'll just give up. Oh, who'll get the boot? Come on, you can do it. That's not good. That's not, no. That's not good. Come on, level 2. Okay. Keep your fingers crossed. That's not, no. Pathetic. Oh, even that was terrible. Come on, come on. There we go. I mean, it wasn't the best landing, but it worked. Okay. Focus. Focus. Careful, careful. And just, yep, little nudges. Over the tip, and just little taps. And that's level 2, so it reloads level 2. That's a win, because that is the last line in the script, so that worked. And that is the end of that video. So we're going to go into the next one. So I have 10 videos recorded for this particular project, but that does not mean that there's going to be 10 videos within this series so far, because the last episode was actually 2 videos edited together, and this one will be 2 videos edited together as well. So we'll see how long the other ones are, because some of them were just 20-minute sessions, some of them were 10-minute sessions, some of them were an hour sessions and 40-minute sessions. And so I'm on the Unity Asset Store looking for Cinemachine. Cinemachine is very handy. I don't know quite how to use it yet. I am using it in the big project I keep talking about, that we will get to eventually. Yeah, using it in that, it's a very simple way to get, just to kind of, so you don't have to code cameras, so you can get a lot of different, you can get cinematic stuff done, so you can do cutscenes and stuff, and you can do follow cameras for third person kind of stuff, and first person. So what I wanted was, and the reason that I'm installing Cinemachine into this project is that I wanted to have the camera follow the player, so that if the level was longer than just this particular screen, so as you went on and the levels increased in difficulty, I'd also want them to increase in length, and have it maybe that at the start of the level the camera is panned back so you can see the whole level, and then it zooms into the player, so that at least you know where the end point is, even though you cannot see it while you're actually playing, but you know kind of the general direction to go. And even if you don't, I mean, it's a side scroller, there's only one way you can go. Having said that, I also kind of toyed with the idea of having it go vertically, so have holes in the ceiling you have to fly up, and then you'd have a vertical level. I had many ideas I toyed with, but I wanted Cinemachine to follow the player, the camera, to make the I wanted the Cinemachine camera to follow the player if I could. So it will take a while to. Nope. Did I import it? I'm trying to figure out how to use it. It pops up somewhere, and it comes around here. That it doesn't appear in the project or the hierarchy. So let's see what I'm doing. I'm gonna go to. I think I'm still trying to figure out how to get it in. That's just a camera package. That's the standard assets. We don't need any of this. I'm looking for Cinemachine. Cinemachine. There's some nice buttons there. So, That's not what I want. I believe it's in component. If I actually did, because I wasn't looking at the screen when I did this. When you're on the asset store, you have to download it and then import it. So the download button changes to an import button on the asset store when you're in it. And once it's installed, it should be under component, I believe. It's been a while since I've had to do. I think it's in there. So if I just look at component, rendering possibly. No, rendering at camera. I think also you can just do create a Cinemachine brain over in the thing. So I'm trying to get it in. Let's just see how I do it. What am I looking for? Assets. Still looking for assets. There it is. Download. Cinemachine. Package Manager 2018.2. I'm on 2018.2. Create. Oh, wait, go back up to create. Go back up to create. Listen to me, you little shit. Go back up to create and do as I say. So this 40-minute video is going to be me trying to find out how to get a Cinemachine brain into my... I was going to say head, because I could definitely use a brain in my head, even if it is a Cinemachine one, into my project. Cinemachine. Show more. How do you find it? If you can't figure it out, Google is your friend. Check my packages. Is it in there? All the packages. Looking under C for Cinemachine. C-A-E. Cinemachine's there. It is installed. No, it's not installed. This package is not installed. Correct. There's a little button there that says installed. So if I want it, click that button. See this button here? I just bring that. No, come on. Follow me. Follow me. There you go. Click that. Click it. Don't. There. Jesus Christ. I just have newfound respect for my friends who have to put up with me on a day-to-day basis because, Jesus Christ, I'm hard work. But I make up for being funny and charming most of the time. At least that's what they tell me. So, it is installing. It is up to date. It's there. Great. So now I have it in the project. How the fuck do I find it? This is going to be me having to go back and look at all the different things that I looked at before because I don't know where it is. Dingbat. Yeah, okay. It's in there. We know it's in there. You installed it. Find it now. Don't. What are you doing? Oh my god. You are importing a standard assets pack that is already pretty much mostly imported. You're trying to get particle systems. That's allowed. I'll allow that. That's fine. If you want to import particles, that's cool. I'm always good with that. I love me my particles. It's time for a particle party. So I downloaded Cinemachine to just ignore it really. So we're importing all them. I may have just given up on Cinemachine because it was bothering me. Might now be going to do some particle stuff. Yes, that's the landing pad. I think I want the launch pad because it looks a little small, so might make it just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit bigger. Little bit bigger. Little bit bigger. For that thick ass ship to land on. Yeah. Ay. My eye. Yes. Still got hay fever. Yes, I'm taking antihistamines and eye drops. No, they're not doing much to help. Oh, look at that! I did it. CM VCam 1. So CM for Cinemachine, VCam for Virtual Camera 1 because it's the first one I put in. It adds a Cinemachine brain to my main camera, which is what this little symbol means. And then all of these things are just ways I can play with the camera that I know a little bit about, but not a huge amount. So I want the camera to follow the rocket. I'll probably also want it to look at the rocket. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Look at the rocket. And then we'll see how this works. I'm not going to spoil anything about how this... So you got... Just makes it really difficult. Oh! No. But I mean, if I moved it back a bit, that's not so bad, I guess. Cinemachine is something that you need to practice with a lot. Like anything, really. How are you supposed to know it if you don't practice? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, my friend. Practice. So I'm just trying to line the camera up so that it's not quite so close to the player when you hit play, so that you can actually see what you're doing, or try to see where you're going. That's better. It's still a little not quite what I want. What I want is that kind of I forgot that my mic picks up the audio from my speakers. I've turned the desktop audio down for no reason, so this music is going to just annoy us all. Like, I don't want it to follow the player as soon as the player moves. I'd rather that if the player got to a certain point in the level, the camera would start to follow it. Excuse me, that ball is amazing. Gives you wings, gives you gas. But even with it's just really hard to see where you're going and to control. So now I know that there are ways of doing what I want within Cinemachine. I don't remember exactly how. Some way you get up a bounding box thing that you can then adjust. So you'll have a small square around the player. And when the player gets to the edge of that square, that's when the camera will start tracking it. So you could make it a bigger square so that the player would get further along before the Cinemachine camera started tracking it. That's one way of doing it. I just can't remember. If I was messing around with Cinemachine myself right now, I'd be able to find it. Again, I've only watched a few tutorials online at this point to try and figure out what I want to do. It seemed like it should be a really easy thing to do. It seems like, because Cinemachine is quite handy for getting complex cameras or complex camera maneuvers into a game rather than having to do it through code. I mean, it's better, kind of. It's still following the ship too much. Red Bull and an anxiety-inducing game. That's going to be great for my heart rate. Which is going to be makes you feel alive. So I'm having issues with the Cinemachine. Yeah, just select everything. Why am I selecting everything? Why? Where am I going? Where am I going? I wanna know. What? Move the whole level? Why am I moving that? Because I move the camera with it. Because I'm also moving the main camera. Okay, if I don't move the main camera. Still moving it with it. Okay. That's because it's following the game object, the player. So this is going to be a video of me problem solving, which I've discussed in previous videos. There are ways, many ways, of solving things and of doing things in game development, and solving the problems is just trial and error, where you just go through individual things, trying to figure out which one is causing problems or which one can fix the problem that you're having. Here comes the music. Oh, I died already. Wow. That's quick even for me. Now, see, that looks good until I start moving. Yeah, so this might be a slightly more boring episode, for lack of a better term, and hopefully you still find it enjoyable. But I do think that this whole episode is going to be me wrestling with Cinemachine. I'm not quite sure what else happens in this video, but I do remember having issues with Cinemachine for quite a while with this project. So, we're going to have a look at how I went around fixing it, or we're going to see me give up and move on to something else. And either option is good, because sometimes you need to take a break from a problem to kind of clear your head and deal with something else, and then you can go back to the problem with fresh eyes. It's easier then to solve. Sometimes that is a very valid thing. I said in a video that there was a lot of recordings of me having issues, and I did not want to upload them. Now I have the video still, and there's more in upcoming series of videos. So especially in the big RPG sci-fi thing, because there's a lot going into that. There were tons of problems and recordings of me just doing basically nothing. I spent hours on the computer working on stuff and got no work done because I just couldn't solve a problem, and I spent hours on that problem. And I'm a little embarrassed. Not embarrassed, but I mean, starting a YouTube channel is kind of daunting enough. You don't know if anybody's going to watch it, if they're going to like it, what kind of feedback you're going to get if people do like it and they don't. If people do watch it and they don't like it, are you going to start getting abuse online because it is the internet? And that is, unfortunately, the way things have to go. And, a little bit, like, despite studying acting for 3 years and pursuing it for my 20s, I was a theatre actor, so not as comfortable on camera. Even though I did some ads and a small role in a feature film and stuff, but that's like, you're surrounded by people. I'm sitting in my room talking to nobody, it feels kind of strange. But then every YouTuber has to start out somewhere. And I don't intend for this to I don't want to become the next PewDiePie or Jacksepticeye or anything like that. I just want to help people, and if my videos help even one person decide to go into game dev, or one mature student to go back to college, or anything like that, then I would consider this whole thing a success. But what am I doing? I'm rotating. Did I try and put another function within a function? You can't do that. Gobshite. Okay, so I'm separating out the rotate into two different functions for some reason. Don't know why. Don't care. Anyway, as I was saying, I had considered... Just turn my mic. I had considered not putting up videos or editing out the bits where I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm making mistakes, or I'm spending ages trying to figure something out, because it made me feel... not that it made me feel stupid. I was worried that if I put it up, people that didn't know me, because obviously at the minute it's just my friends that watch these videos, which is great. But if ever it got out to people that don't know me, I was worried that people would think I was stupid. Whereas it's like, making these mistakes and going through all of that and working it out is a vital part of game design, of life, of anything really. You got to make mistakes, you got to learn from them. That is the way, we learn and grow. So I think not putting in all these mistakes and just kind of editing them out, or just trying to make it look like I just immediately knew what I was doing and I got everything right the first time, that would be stupid. Because the whole point of this channel is to show people what it's like doing game dev and game design and stuff, and what it's like being in college, and to also document my learning process. Not my learning process, but my learning journey, really, from where I came from in first year to where I will be at the end of my degree year if I get that far. And the mistakes are a big part of that, because, even looking back at them, I can already say, and I have in previous videos gone, that's wrong, I can do that better, I know a better way to do that now. And I've learned that by making those mistakes. So I think the mistakes are a very important part. And while I'm not even doing Cinemachine right now, so the whole point of this was, if this was a boring video because all I'm doing is trying to figure out Cinemachine, that is also a very important part of the learning process and of the development process. So even people that aren't in college, like professionals that have been in the industry for years, they still run up against problems, and they still have to fix them. And it is just a matter of working at it and getting it done. But I've moved on to something else, changing my code for absolutely no reason. Adding in something there that I wasn't paying attention to because I was talking. And as a man, I cannot multitask. I can drink and talk. No, I can't drink and talk at the same time. That's just... I'm now changing the way I rotate. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, so I was having issues with Cinemachine, so I decided to take a break and try to get in a cross-platform input manager. Now, what that is it allows you, like, I could plug in a controller, so a PlayStation or an Xbox controller, into my PC, or a gaming controller, and it will the game would still work. So if you're getting an axis, so you can see there I'm getting the horizontal axis. Can it implicitly convert type float to type bool? I'll optimize my PC later. Anyway, so the horizontal axis would be the left and right arrows on a keyboard, or A and D, and then on a controller, it would be left and right on the joystick or the D-pad. And that should work with one line of code. It should work across different platforms. That's the whole idea. So I wanted to have this so that it could potentially be used on consoles as a very simple game, and mobile devices. And I was hoping I could get a virtual joystick in. Again, not entirely necessary, but this is the next layer of the onion that I'm working on. I'm taking out the void rotate. I still forget the order of this. It's not two, right? If you use two slashes there, it creates a comment. So like these up here, update is called once per frame. This is not a line of code. This is so you can comment your code so that you know what the different bits do. If you have one slash and a star, or a star and one slash, I can't remember which way around it is, but whichever way it is at the top, if you do the opposite down the bottom, it will comment a whole chunk. The issue I'm having here is that I'm actually putting in two slashes when it should just be one. A star and a slash, and then end it with a slash and a star, and you can comment a whole chunk at once. Otherwise, you just have to go line by line and comment stuff. Or, what am I trying to do? Trying to see if I can just find a way to comment it out. Otherwise, you just have to go line by line, which I may end up doing. So this is fine. So I can't comment out this whole chunk, so I just won't call it in the update function, and then it won't do anything. So that's fine. That's one way to get around not being able to comment it, but I'm still trying to rotate left. So using the cross-platform input manager, get axis horizontal. That's not gonna work. That's only to rotate left, I think. So compiler errors. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is quite a complicated thing to try and do for outside of college, me working on my own and not having access to college resources like the teachers and that kind of stuff. I assume I am following some kind of online tutorials or Googling stuff and YouTubing stuff to give me as much help as possible, but you can't. It's not the same when you don't have like face-to-face asking questions and getting answers and that kind of stuff. Still compiler errors. Online, there's a compiler error here. So, what x is horizontal? It's expecting a semicolon. It has a semicolon. That has a semicolon. That has a semicolon. It's here. I think there's still. Oh, it's down here. Ah, there. There's a semicolon missing there. What the hell is that little red error? Anyway. So it should play now, at least. I don't think it's going to rotate left. Oh, it just rotates. Okay. So, I mean, I was wrong. It rotates left. Just not quite the way I wanted to. Cross-platform input. Oh, because I'm rotating it. So it's constantly going to rotate. There's no if statement there. There's nothing to say only do this when such and such is happening. This is just going rotate it. So there has to be so if input.get access, because you can do that, right? Input.get key down, key code. So this is just, this is going to be a video of me just solving problems. I moved on from one problem to try and do something else and just immediately have another problem. It has to be in an if statement. There needs to be another bracket. If, but it's not liking that. And yet you can do if input.get key down key code blah 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 do this and this. So you don't need a semicolon at the end of an if statement, so get rid of that. That might help. Get rid of that. Here. Hey, dumbass. Never listens. Well, we'll see. I don't know if that would necessarily fix the problem. I just know that would cause a problem. So, I mean, I assume that will throw up a compiler error. But I don't know if it will fix the problem of it not recognizing the cross-platform input manager.get access. Because it's saying that you cannot, it's a float. Right. Okay, yeah, I see, because it's a float. So the horizontal axis, so anything greater than 0 is right, and anything less than 0 is left. So it's a float. So what you would have to say, if I want to rotate left, so this is the rotate left function, you would have to say if cross-platform input manager.get access horizontal is less than 0, then that should get rid of this error, and then it would run this line of code. Because when you press the left arrow or move the stick left, it will go from 0 down, and it will go to minus 1, I believe. It's 0 to 1, 0 to minus 1. It gives you a little more, and you can use just input.get access for the keyboard, and for other things. Yeah, you can use it for other things as well. So that's how they get it to work. So that right, PlayStation controller. This would be, how would you move? That's when you move the camera. So this one you move your person. So this is left. It's my right, but it's left. So if I want to move left, if I only move the stick slightly, it will go from 0 to left is negative. So let's say it would go minus 0.1, minus 0.2, and it will slowly start moving whatever the object the script is on, and it'll get to 1 when you fully move the stick to the left. And obviously it'll do positive when you go to the right, which means that you can, so when you have a game where it's got that sensitive movement thing, where when you kind of slightly push the stick, the analog stick, it starts moving slower, and the more you push it, the quicker the guy walks until he runs. That is using a float. So it's the get axis float rather than the adding a force, which is how I was doing it, or rotating it, or whatever I was doing. I was just getting a key. Yeah, because the key is either up or down. It's yes or no. Is the key pressed? Is the key not pressed? So you don't have the same kind of accuracy and degree of control over the movement of the character. Just going, yes, it's pressed. No, it's not. At least now you can go, well, it's moving 0.1 in that direction, or it's moving 0.5 in that direction, or it's moving fully 1 in that direction, or negative in the opposite direction. I hope that makes sense. I appear to have just given up. Past me has just gone, fuck this. Okay. I was gone, I assume, looking at a tutorial. Which, yeah. So that will fix that. And I know that for a fact. That will fix it. Make it less than or equal to 0. No, not equal to. 0 would be not moving. So less than 0, moving left, greater than 0, moving right, and get rid of that semicolon because an if statement doesn't have a semicolon after it. So I'm doing a horizontal throw, so how much I'm moving so I'm making this into a float. So get axis horizontal is already a float. I'm just renaming that float horizontal throw, so that would be how much I've thrown the analog stick horizontally. It's a way of doing it, so I'm just going to replace that if horizontal flow is less than 0. And if that's what I write, it would have worked the exact same way to say if cross-platform input manager.get axis horizontal is less than 0. Do whatever. No, you can't. It's just a float. It has to be something. Well, at least I got rid of the semicolon. Go back and look at your tutorial. They've got to have it on that. Whatever you're looking at, whatever video or Google page you're looking at, go back. It has to have the float being... Because right now you're just saying if it's a float, and you're already saying it's a float. What about it? What about the float? It has to be less than 0, greater than 0, equal to something. It has to be something. I'm just going, if it exists... That's not how floats work.
Listen to me, you little shit. Go and look at your tutorial and make it less than 0.
And calm. Making a nice, calm game. Yes, it'll be fine. Don't worry. I'll get there. Eventually. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Seriously, do I do nothing for the rest of this video? This is brilliant. This is great YouTubing. Oh, I'm back. What am I doing? I'm scrolling through. I wish there was some vodka in that Red Bull. It would really help right now. Okay, so I've just taken out the if statement. It's good that this is annoying me so much. Because, as I said, it shows that I've learned from these mistakes, and now I actually know what I'm doing. Or the way to fix them. Until I run into more mistakes. And I will constantly run into mistakes. That is the joy of this. That's the joy of life. You run into mistakes, you make mistakes, you run into problems. Oh, geez, excuse me. Oh, yes. So yeah, at least I know what I'm doing wrong. Present me knows what past me is doing wrong. Past me is not listening to present me. Because past me is very, very bold. But the reason I'm getting so annoyed is that I know how to do it now. And I can see the stupid mistakes I'm making. And they're not stupid mistakes. That's not fair because I was beginning. I was learning. They are the mistakes that everybody makes when you start out. And it's, again, good to see them. So I'm glad that I've kind of summoned up the courage to put up videos of me just dicking about making beginner mistakes, because that's part of the learning process. You make mistakes and you move on. And if these videos help any other beginners kind of avoid these mistakes, that would also be a good thing. I make the mistakes so that you don't have to. That is the kind of, these are not tutorials, but they are just lessons for life. Yeah, if you're ever trying to use, whatever that was called. Sorry, the name's already escaped me. The cross-platform input manager. It's a mouthful. It is a float, and the float has to be greater than a number, less than a number, or equal to a number, if you're putting it in an if statement. So I'm fucking about with rotation and Euler angles or Euler angles or whatever that word is. But I've taken out the if statement, so this line of code, these two lines aren't going to do anything. Transform.root. And this is how you figure out problems. It's just try something. Like you go, okay, well, will this work? And then you try it and it doesn't work, and you go, okay, that doesn't work, we'll delete that, and then maybe try put in this line of code. I don't know. Try it. If you don't try, you don't know. You may find something that fixes the problem. It may not be the most efficient way to fix the problem, but if it fixes your problem, then that's progress. So it is just a lot of trial and error. A lot of error, more error than anything else, until eventually you figure out what you're doing and how to get it done. So, interesting. At least I find it interesting. I hope you do too. I seriously doubt I'm going to make any progress in this video. So I might have to leave it on another cliffhanger quite soon, because we are coming up to the end of this particular recording. If I take, how did I do this? Get rid of me. You can see here, there is 4 minutes left in this video. And we have been recording for 42 minutes. So, what am I Googling? I gotta be careful. Don't want to use. Yeah, see? When in doubt, Google. If I'm going to a YouTube video, I'm just going to stop. If I go to the Unity docs, I'll show that, because that's definitely a okay. Unity docs, Unity forums even. So go to game of it. That's just creating the UI. That answer. There's a bit of joystick update. So there's tons and tons of stuff online on Unity docs. So whatever problem you had or you're having, more than likely somebody else has had that problem in the past, and it's got a great community for putting up issues that they've been having, and a lot, answering questions, because they've all been in that position of starting out or running into problems. As I said, even experienced programmers and game designers run into issues that they can't figure out how to get access. So we're rotating on the horizontal. That's float, so that's not going to work. If the get axis is less than 0, you want to rotate it negatively. You want to rotate it to the left. That is what I'm saying. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm definitely not getting it done in this video. So it's just me And this is what I do when I run into problems. I'll either go into Google and go to the Unity docs or any other Unity forums or C# scripting forums or that kind of stuff. Sometimes even like Reddit and those kind of platforms have posts and stuff with these kind of questions and answers in them. So that is certainly a good way to do it. I'm going to YouTube now, so I'll stop that. And there's only a minute left in this video, so that's probably the end of that. So I'll just leave this video here, a little bit shorter than usual. I don't think my next video is 40 minutes long, or 15 minutes long. But you know what? While I'm here, let's check it, right? We've got all these. You can't see those. This one is 23 minutes. Okay, well, we'll just go with this then, 23 minutes. Sure, why not? We'll just get another one out of the way. So that's 1, 2, 3 videos in one. Leaves me with 2, 4, 5 left. So in this one, I'm starting particles. I would assume that I stopped recording when I was having all these problems with the cross-platform input manager. And Googled it and YouTubed it and tried some stuff out. Didn't record it because I was getting annoyed and didn't get it to work. Surprise, surprise. And decided, screw that. Cinemachine didn't work. Cross-platform input manager didn't work. Let's do some particles. I want a particle for the ship thruster. Oh, my ship has changed. Oh no. I thought I had a video of me actually making this ship. These videos may be out of time, out of sync. It doesn't matter. Actually, it might matter. Oh, bear with me. Okay. I just double checked. I do not have a video of me modeling this new ship. This new ship, this beautiful ship, was done in 3ds Max, I believe. More than likely, possibly Maya. I can't remember at this stage. I was very lucky to have a very good friend of mine, Michaela. Shout out to Michaela. You may know her if you watch the channel. She is with me in the Undertale Let's Play, which once all this isolation thing passes, we will be able to get back into that, hopefully. Well, definitely. So there will be more episodes of that one coming up. And so if you watch those, you will know Michaela. She is a very, very talented artist, and she gave me a drawing. Those drawing things that people use, the a concept sketch of a ship that I took and then modeled into this. So that's pretty cool. So I'm very lucky to have her to rely on for any kind of drawing, designy stuff that I need done. And I make use of that a lot, so it's always good to have friends with skills. So I'm working on making an explosion, because obviously when the ship dies, I don't want the level to just restart. I want... that fucking hurt. I want the ship to explode, and then the level to restart. So particles I know how to do. It's very finicky, and it's a lot of just tweaking things and tweaking settings. So we've got that. And so I know I'm not going to run into too many problems with this, at least not in the way that I ran into problems with the other two things I was working on. This would be more just time consuming and getting the look that I want. But that being said, trying to get it to work when the ship gets destroyed, that's where some issues will crop up. But they're easier to deal with, and I do get them to work. So just trying to make a cool looking explosion. Tweaking my settings, making cool explosions. So I think I'm using... No, that's just a particle. Okay, there's a really cool thing you can do, which is they're called flip books, I think, or sprite sheets, or both. Sprite sheet flip books, which is... It's basically what it sounds like. It's a flip book. So you don't remember those things you got, and you'd flip the pages and the image would move. You can get 2D sprites that are laid out in a grid pattern, and they have that kind of sequential movement-y effect. And you can bring that into Unity, and then it will split them up, and you can tell it there's this many across and this many down, and it will play through them like a flipbook. And you can get some pretty cool, like almost animated particle effects, and you can also use it for sprite animations. So that's kind of cool. So then we've got the ship exploding. So I think it's a little bit slow. Maybe you want to bring the speed up, maybe? Yeah, start speed, bring that up a little bit, just so that it goes boom, as opposed to puh. My past computer, which is my current computer, so there's not that much in it that it should tank at that. How many? I've got 30, only 30 particles coming out. There's also 1,000 particles coming out. What's the rate over time? The max particles is 1,000, so that's quite a lot of particles for it, because again, these are CPU based, so they can, if you have too many particles using this system, can tank your computer very quickly. That's why, like the visual effects graph that I've been speaking about in the high definition render pipeline, so Unity HDRP, which came out at Unity 2019 plus, because that is GPU based. So if you've got a good graphics card, you can have millions and millions of particles and do some pretty like damn awesome effects from what I've seen. Unfortunately, because it's new, there's not that many tutorials online that I've been able to find, so I just have to dig around with it myself and try and get it to work. And it's node based, which is not something I've done before. But I try my best. There are some like really awesome effects you can do. So there will be more of that. Is it because it's only lasting like 0.3 of a second, so it's kind of technically stopping there? Is that the issue? Like playback speed 1, playback time, or is it just too many particles where it's just kind of going, fuck this? I don't know, but I've stopped playing it though. I must have paused it for some reason, because it seems quite big. It goes out quite a lot. Okay, so bring the radius in so that the explosion is a little bit more condensed, but still goes boom. And play it. So I'm playing it and pausing it. So that's radius thickness. Bring that down. Sure, why not? See what that looks like. Again, just tweak the settings. If you don't know what the settings do, change them and play the effect and see if you can see a difference. I can't see a difference after doing the radius thickness. Also, if you have it on loop, because I'm trying to do an explosion, it's obviously a burst. But if I had that burst on loop just while I'm building it, then I could change these while it's playing over and over again and see what difference is happening. And then once I'm happy with how it looks, I could just put it into one burst as opposed to a looping effect. Just pro tip there. Pro beginner tip. Nothing but the tip. So the tip is all you need. Enough said, right? Add in some noise just to get a bit of variation to the directions of the particles. Separate the axes. 45, 45, so there'll just be a little bit more rotation on them. And they'll move a little bit. That's a technical term with noise. If you want to know what noise is, the technical term is noise is when you get a particle system to just go and put in some kind of sound effect over that, maybe. Do my own Foley sounds. We're learning Foley sounds in college this year, and I say learning them. I've learned very little about them other than that they're possible. So I'm adding in a light. Oh, I know why. Why would I be adding in a light? I'm going to this particle system, and it's what makes this kind of really cool. Again, this can really kind of up the amount of performance necessary for these systems if you overuse this, but you can add a light to a particle system. And then you can say, how many of the particles do you want to have the light? Now, so for obviously an explosion, it's flames, it's going to be bright, so you want you don't have the light, it just looks like there's something missing. And the light is off. So if I get this to work, and so there's no particles have the light. So I'm going to put half the particles will have the light. So it's 0 to 1. So you can see the light just kind of traveling across there. If you put too many of them having it, like if you don't have that many particles and it's only a quick thing, like you can see they're a lot brighter and there is the light. You can see it lighting up the ship, and you can see them traveling along the ground. So it is like the lights do add a lot. I could also add a sub-emitter for this particle effect that would have smoke, because this is just the flames of the explosion really. I could have smoke or sparks or that kind of thing coming off of this effect, so you can nest them down. Again, the more you have and the more particles each of them has, the higher the CPU cost. But like this explosion is quite a quick one, and there'd only be one on screen at a time, so it's not like you're throwing in like you're throwing too much at the screen at the same time. And it's a very like it's a prototype. There's not a lot else in it that's going to take up a lot of computing power. So I can afford to have a slightly bigger explosion effect. And it's not even that big, really. You can test out, I don't know exactly, again, it depends on your computer, how many particles your computer can handle, your CPU can handle. When you get up to too much, it will start jittering and really kind of jerking around and being really slow, and then it will just crash. And you'll have to force quit Unity. But that's when you know that you've hit too many. I have not done that on this, not intentionally. I think I accidentally hit, like, I was trying to put in 100 or 1,000, and I clicked in expecting it to highlight everything, and I could just put in more. And then I didn't. It kind of added in the new number at the end of that number. So I had 1,000 there, and then I added in another 100 or 1,000 or whatever, 200 or something. So it became like 1000200, and Unity just went nope. So I put it on loop so that I can actually see what's happening and edit it. Pew pew. So if I turn looping off, it's a little too fast. The duration is, so you've got a kind of a boom and a flip. Which doesn't look good, does it? Like you got a boom that's kind of conformed into a circle, and then a flip. See what I mean? Boom, flip. Boom, flip. Not great. So I got to tweak some stuff, and why is that happening? Why is there the flip? The flip is the 1,000 being emitted over time. The boom is the 1,000 being emitted once. That looked better. Why did you stop? Go back. That looked good. I say good, it looked better. It looked like a boom and not a boom flip. And I want a boom. I don't want the flip. I just want the boom. The boom. I said the boom. Well, okay. That's a big, slow kind of boom. Which looks, I mean, it's slow, but it's a boom. So it's more boom. But I want a boom with no flip. I know that I've started, I can't, it's just in my head all the time, it's just flip. Flip. Why do I do these things? Oh, that's even a bigger boom. I don't know why I do these things to myself. Well, that's a slow boom. That's just a boom. But you can see I'm just tweaking values and stuff and getting it to be the way I want it to look. And this is what particle systems are. It's getting the effect the way you want it to look for your game. Now you could, because I mean, you could say, well, an explosion is an explosion, but do you want it to be cartoony? Do you want it to be more realistic? Do you want it to be big or small, or maybe if it's a sci-fi game, maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be like red fire. It could be like a plasma, or green plasma, or blue plasma, or napalm-y thing, or it can be whatever you want it to be. And so we're just gonna scrub through here because that's more of a flip. That's a constant flip. That's a flip. Flip. So don't loop that because that's not good. That's a boom. That's a boom. I like the boom. Let's see. Go for. So we just kind of explosion prefab. Opening Visual Studios takes a while, so I think I may not necessarily be happy with that, but I'm going to start testing it to see if it works. Visual Studio takes ages. There we go. I've got my rocket ship. Float rotate. I'd love to just scroll down and see if anything came from the cross-platform input. If it's greater than 0, I'm adding a relative force. That's thrust. That's Y throw, so that's up, down. That's vertical. So where am I? Float is Y throw. Where am I setting what Y throw is? So Y throw is equal to pros. Yeah, so there it is. It's equal to get axis. So I did fix what the issue I was having in the last one. So I must have found the correct tutorial or the correct part of the tutorial and got that to work. So now, and the rotate stuff, so that all works. So I mean, you can pause the video and read the script. It is basically what I said. If it's greater than 0 or less than 0, we're gonna rotate. Now we're doing. Okay, yeah. So what we want is if you hit the finish line, yeah, you load the scene. If you hit anything else, you do the explosion and then reload the first level. So this is where I want it to be done. I do not want it to be done here. I don't. Because that means when I get to the finish line, I'm going to blow up and then load the next level. That's one way to do it, I guess. Not a good way. So the explosion prefab is the explosion that we've created, and you put in the transform dot position of the. So if you just put this in, it will just be of whatever this object is, the object that script is on. So theoretically, it would be. Now the other problem. Actually, I might not have it with this. I don't know. I've had it before, and I can't really understand why. Because when you're instantiating an object, you're creating an object where this thing is. Well, maybe other times I added the particle system directly onto the object, and then I just kind of played the particle system and destroyed the object, which stopped the particle system from playing because obviously the particle system was destroyed with the object. Whereas if you instantiate the particle system as a different object, then it shouldn't be destroyed once you destroy this. Now, yeah, this is bad because this is just gonna. So I'm creating a whole new function to load the next level so that I can invoke it after a certain amount of time. Which means that, whatever time value I put in, it'll wait that amount of seconds before it runs this function, which will load the next scene, and that is just so it doesn't load the next scene while the explosion effect is playing. So it'll wait 1 second, which, may or may not be long enough for the explosion. And if it's not, I can just come back in and tweak it. Still, though, it's not a good idea to blow yourself up when you get to the finish line, because that's where you want to be. That's, it's the aim. But once I figure that out, I can just copy all this and paste it in here. And then it will work the way I want it to work. In theory. Everything's in theory. So we're going to play. Oh, and I've already. Okay. So as you can see, I also have the particle system. So I've already done that for the thruster, which it activates when I press thrust, when I press up, and it turns off when I stop, so that you get that little thrustery thing. So we bring the explosion prefab in, drop it onto the ship. It's still not going to work because I put it in the wrong place in the script. If I get there, it'll work. It'll blow up. And while this is not technically going to be a cliffhanger, we're going to see, do I figure it out here? If not, I will figure it out next time. But this video is coming to an end, so I don't think I'm going to figure it out in the next 15 seconds. But trust me, I figure it out eventually. I will give that away, so just in case the next video does not actually pick up from here. So that's it. That is the end of this video. Slightly over time, but we managed to get 3 of my recordings done in one, so at least that was something good. And after editing, actually, it may be just on time. So thanks for watching. If you liked, please hit the like button, share it with anybody you think might be interested in seeing this kind of content, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with all the cool content I've got coming up, because there is plenty. All right, thanks very much, and see you all next time.